Sandra Roma ministra predra via scanzasta Gesù Cristo così a Roma Lucia Franca, gloria al Padre, al Figlio, al Spirito Santo.
My Aunt Franca has a headache caused by malocchio, the evil eye.
Santa Maria, Madre di Dio, prega per noi peccatori, adesso e nell'ora della nostra morte. Amen.
Lucia, an old friend, will cure her with whispered prayers and drops of olive oil in a bowl of water.
Guarda qua.
Growing up Italian, I had heard about this ritual, but never actually witnessed it. Until today.
5, 6 e 7. Sì, quella è malocchia propria, se ne va subito. Vi, si è allargato lui. Ce l'hai in gemale.
Perché tutt'oggi veramente mi sentivo la testa, non è un dolore forte.
No, ma
me la sentivo.
Ti sento curiosa, no?
Poi quando ero dentro la macchina mi sentivo...
se ne andatevi.
Tenevo, meno male che sono venuta qua stasera.
Ma guarda un po'. Se n'è andata, in giro stai giù.
Beh, ma guarda, non è niente per scherzare, io già mi sento la testa più leggera.
Quella è in un minuto, tant'è che tu l'hai fatta, quella in un secondo, se ne scappa subito si aprono gli occhi.
E non mi citare acqua e olio e non mi donare l'occhio storto, stai fuori di me, ma l'occhio.
Until Aunt Franca's visit to Lucia, I hadn't put much thought into the evil eye superstition. But now it's got me thinking, do I believe in malocchio? Now, what exactly is it? Well, the belief is that someone will unintentionally, never on purpose, cause you physical illness because they're envious of you or something you have. You'll suddenly feel ill, a headache, or even an upset stomach. In extremely rare cases, it may even lead to madness or death. You'll call in a relative or a family friend to cure it, and just like that, you'll feel better again. I know it sounds a little crazy, okay, really crazy, but most Italians of a certain age believe in malocchio. With my generation and those younger, I'm not quite sure. Are they on the fence like me?
The malocchio. I don't know much about that. I know it's superstitious.
Well, from what I know of malocchio, it's more when someone has like evil feelings or intentions about you personally.
I do know that it is a superstition and that most people believe it's something that is inflicted upon you by someone who wishes ill on you.
Well, I've heard of it because I know it means the evil eye.
Or sometimes they say it's not even a bad wish, it's somebody like that's over-complimenting that may result in one not feeling well.
Well, it's a bowl of water, and you take a spoon and you put oil in the spoon.
I've heard people have relatives that know how to, rid of it or so on and so forth. But
if the oil disappears, well, it means that you had malocchia a few days ago.
No, you haven't.
Or you have it and
I'd feel much better. I would actually, it's like something was released and they themselves would be yawning or feeling something from it. So it's like an energy draws from me to them.
Carrying on the traditions and practices brought over from Italy is very important for my family. It's especially so for my mom Assunta and my Aunt Franca. But with malocchio, both women have been uncharacteristically secretive about the whole thing. Well, that's about to change.
Mi veniva spesso la febbre.
No, la febbre proprio.
Sì, ero grave.
Era veramente delicato.
si vede che sono delicati. Poi mia mamma sempre chiamava una zia e diceva fai un malocchio a Frank che c'ha la febbre. Me lo faceva e subito mi sentivo bene, la febbre spariva. Non aveva bisogno di prendere antibiotici allora. Facevano un malocchio e stavi bene.
Il dottore allora lo manteneva lontano, mamma.
E certo, specialmente, che non c'erano neanche i soldi.
Ti ricordi quando tu hai cominciato a spiegare a noi un malocchio? Come è successo?
Quando ne ho stata bene, io ho detto che provavo a fare il malocchio e voi ci siete messi a ridere, che non era vero. Però io quando ho visto che c'avevate il bisogno, senza che voi ve ne siete accorti, l'ho sempre fatto e ha funzionato.
Le tradizioni sono tradizioni.
A superstition steeped in tradition, according to my aunt. How steeped? Turns out that the belief in the evil eye is not exclusive to Italians. It's not even exclusive to our century. People of Greek, Portuguese, and Haitian origin are all avid believers. The belief is prevalent in parts of Africa, the Middle East, the Philippines, and Latin America. The evil eye belief was even part of ancient Egyptian mythology. The Eugian eye, or the Eye of Horus, was worn as an amulet or charm by both the living and the dead as protection. Clay tablets that were found in ancient Sumeria, the earliest known civilization of the ancient world, included prayers to protect one from the evil eye. That was 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years. I found some contradictory theories on the origins of the evil eye, but they're all based on the concept of envy and on the idea that there is some sort of power coming from the eyes. Most believers agree that the evil eye is given unintentionally. Making someone ill on purpose actually falls into the category of curses and of black magic. And all cultures use the evil eye as a way to explain misfortune of some sort. Everything I know about malocchio seems to fit within these theories. But they're theories, and I'm still on the fence. I head to New York to attend the Italians in the Americas conference, which brings together academics who teach Italian studies at universities in Canada and the US. Given their expertise on the Italian culture, maybe they can give me more insight on malocchio.
I know people, I have friends, colleagues who are professionals, who are scientists actually, who believe in the malocchio because it was passed down from their grandparents to their parents and to themselves.
My parents don't particularly believe it. I'm not even sure my grandparents do, but they would always refer to it. It would always be sort of a metaphor for bad things that could happen to you or for ill will that people, or jealousy that people could have for you.
When I was growing up in Brooklyn and Queens, the guys, some of them would wear the horns, and they would be to ward off the evil eye. And, you know, you always wanted to be careful who you talked about or who you talked bad about.
There's a whole social dimension to it. So I believe in it in that sense, that it works, you know, but the power is social. So I do and I don't.
It's not something I can really give myself to. I wasn't trained really to believe in it. I was trained to sort of find it to be something both culturally meaningful but also funny.
Well, not quite the answers I was counting on. Should I or shouldn't I believe? I head to one of my favorite spots in New York, Little Italy. There I find the owner of the oldest souvenir shop on Mulberry Street, Ernest Rossi.
Originally, my grandfather started in 1910, and he started out as a bookstore, then sold music, coffee makers, religious articles, all different type of houseware articles. And I remember my aunt, when she used to work in the store with us, every once in a while, she would say, you know, Gigi, she used to call me Gigi, well, and she used to say, somebody got a malokya on you. They got the evil eye on you. So the next day she would come into the shop. She'd bring get a little bowl that off the counter, put some water in it. She'll get some oil, and she'll drop a few drops of oil in the water. And then she would see the little drop of oil that went into the water grow big. And she'd say, oh, Chichi, somebody got a malokya on you, he caught it on you. And right away she'd throw some salt on the floor and get a broom and sweep the salt right out of the store. And she says, all right, I took care of everything now. She says, now, buona fortuna.
Italians don't leave malocchio to fortuna or luck. It's all about prevention. The amulets we use to ward off the evil eye are easy to spot. You find them around a person's neck, hanging from the rearview mirror in the car, or on display in a home. Italian kids grew up with these amulets, but I'm not quite sure we actually understood their purpose. If you need an evil eye amulet in New York, you go to Rossi and Company.
Usually what you do is you would buy this and give it to someone to give them good luck. Something similar to like giving somebody a rabbit's foot for good luck. But it's always best that someone buys it and gives it to them. You know, many people confuse this as a red pepper. It is not a red pepper. It's a horn. It's a good luck horn, a bull's horn. And I guess, you know, especially for Neapolitans and Southern Italians, it's been something that they've been living with for years and years and years. You know, they're praying with a rosary in one hand, and on the other hand, they're also carrying a little good luck charm. You know, you have the horn, we have the hunchback man, and we have the hand. And the hand is called a malokya, which is to reverse the evil eye. And a lot of, especially the older people, when they would walk by someone that they didn't like, or they thought they were, you know, wishing them harm, as they walked by them, they would do this, and they would spit on the floor. And what it would do is, by doing this, you're getting the bad luck that they're wishing to you and sending it right back to them. You know, one time, I called in a bet. And as I was on the phone, I happened to have one of these in my hand, and I did this on the phone, and I got lucky that night.
I myself don't remember wearing or carrying an amulet against the evil eye. Definitely not since I began to have a say in my own wardrobe. But I do remember hearing about special amulets for babies.
Oggi è una grande giornata per Cassandra, per mamma e papà di Cassandra. Prendono i primi sacramenti. È una giornata molto ricorrevole. Ma oggi sta bambina forse è preoccupata, non mangia bene. Veramente. Questo è un simbolo che in Calabria si usa a mettere i bambini per un malocchio. E i bambini lo portano notte e giorno questo qua, che aiuta.
Cassandra, the Christian community welcomes you with great joy. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Little Cassandra will wear her evil eye amulet hidden from view. I did as well when I was baptized in 1974. It's funny how not much has changed. The Catholic Church has discouraged the practice of the evil eye as a pagan belief, and so believers hide their amulets from the priest. But I think he knows they're there.
Cassandra, I baptize you in the name of the Father.
It's all tradition, really. The amulets, religious rites of passage, practices and beliefs that my family brought over from Italy. Immigrants holding on to their culture. The culture of southern Italy. Cristo si è fermato a Eboli. Christ stopped at Eboli. A saying made famous in the 1940s by Italian writer Carlo Levi, when his novel of the same name introduced the reader to the living conditions of the Italians in this small town just southeast of Napoli. It's a saying that my mom remembers hearing as a child. It seems misfortune always hit Eboli, and the locals began to believe that Christ himself would never step foot in their town. When my mom was a child, the best cures of malocchio were said to be found right here.
Oh, malocchio! C'è un esempio vivente.
Allora vedi, quando gioco a carte io, vinco solo quando c'è dietro quel signore là, quello che ho detto prima. Quando c'è lui, vinco sempre.
Lui è un credente in queste cose.
Allora poi quando lui gioca a carte, io vado dietro di lui perde sempre. Vedi un poco?
Lui crede nella fortuna.
Chiamano malocchio, chiamano... È una cosa che comunque capita quasi sempre.
The locals in Eboli are extremely welcoming, but I can't seem to find a cure of malocchio willing to talk on camera. Luckily, I'm introduced to a local anthropologist who's actually doing research on the practice of malocchio. Professor Raffaele Ferrara. Questa credenza nel malocchio esiste ancora oggi in Italia?
Da noi sì, da noi sì. Io il discorso che faccio a livello scientifico è che al nord non hanno tempo contro il malocchio. Pigliano l'aspirina o una pillola particolare e passa. Invece qui da noi c'è ancora il tempo per pensare a questo malocchio. L'Italia del Sud credeva e crede ancora, perché questo qua è un mondo a parte, dice Lucano, dove la sofferenza è silenziosa, non c'è grande movimento, grandi moine, grandi chiasso. Il mondo contadino meridionale si è evoluto, c'è arrivata la televisione, internet, però ancora ci sono queste radici culturali profondissime nel rispetto della famiglia.
Since the belief in malocchio is still prevalent in southern Italy, wearing amulets is common practice. In Eboli, believers head to Paolo Bisogno's jewelry shop to stock up.
Qua abbiamo una rappresentazione di un classico portafortuna napoletano, che è il gobbetto, detto anche scuscinatiello. Vedi, c'ha la gobba, sotto porta il collo, poi come potete vedere porta delle piccole ciampe di cavallo. E questo è proprio quello che dovrebbe essere il più potente degli amuleti per il malocchio. Tutti questi amuleti, che fanno parte della tradizione, diciamo, italiana, napoletana, non sono ammessi chiaramente dalla religione, quindi ci sta una netta differenza tra la credenza pagana, quindi che si va a regalare il simbolo contro il malocchio, e quella che è la religione che non lo ammette. Questo sentimento si è talmente diffuso con la religione che non si riesce più a separare il sacro dal profano. Allora succede che mi vengono delle persone che vogliono regalare l'amuleto, tipo il cornetto, da portare al battesimo, da far mettere in chiesa al bambino, insieme alla classica croce che fa il padrino, la croce che poi viene benedetta. Allora io dico no, il prete non vuole, non potete portare il cornetto in chiesa.
La Chiesa non ha visto mai bene il malocchio, perché praticamente va al di fuori della fede religiosa e quindi ovviamente un po' agli antitesi. Ma nel malocchio c'è un fatto più umano, concreto, di persone, e che le persone vogliono questo rapporto. Mentre con Dio il rapporto è un poco particolare, tu vai in chiesa, stai solo con te stesso riesci ad immaginare che il Cristo o il Santo ti aiuti, però nel malocchio tu vai dalla persona che ti risolve il problema. Quindi ti fa passare il malocchio. Vuoi la mescolanza di queste credenze, vuoi il momento particolare di autosuggestione che c'è, ti passa il malocchio. Ecco perché c'è sta questa dicotomia che la Chiesa ovviamente non può vedere e non vuole sopportare questa cosa. Questa semplice e lineare premessa ci ha entusiasmati, dice questo scrittore.
Professor Ferrara invites me to one of his monthly lectures on local folklore and literature.
E proprio per questo ci siamo detti, se esiste il malocchio,
Tonight, he talks about malocchio.
anche dei metodi e dei rimedi per allontanarlo o per scongiurarlo.
At the lecture, I meet Professor Eduardo Apellano, who it turns out is an avid believer in malocchio.
Osso, pinosso e misericordioso, chi va male a chi sti boss, a da fa pulci prima se si crinda all'osso. Show, ciucciui, vattene fuori da casa mia, tu non sei la compagna mia, non ti voglio più vedere. Show, questa è la formula.
È bellissima.
Ti piace?
Sì.
Qua ce ne sono tante altre.
Ci stanno, sì.
Si fa così, ruta, prezzemolo e finocchio, no? Mettile pure dentro un secchio, mettici dentro un corno vecchio, un bicchio, un bacchio e un papocchio, portati via il piripicchio, portati tutto via con lui. Così si fa per liberare le case dai malocchi. Com'era? Luria?
Luria.
Maronna, è una cosa luria.
Io ho parlato già.
Ciao Canada.
Professor Ferrara offers to introduce me to a curer of malocchio, but he has some conditions. I cannot suggest that malocchio does not exist, as she will be extremely offended. I can't ask to watch her cure someone, as she'll outright refuse. I agree to his terms. Elena Mastrangelo lives with her blind companion in a rundown apartment complex on the outskirts of Eboli. Chi ti ha insegnato il malocchio?
Mia mamma. Tenia 13 anni. Dice, mamma, imparato tutto, figlia mia. Quando tu lo imparate, quando tu vieni da una parte, tieni un male di capo, che tu tieni i figli, no? Che fa? E così sta. Ce n'è dato botto, mamma.
In quei tempi sì.
A scuola non ci aiuta. Aiuta solo al lavoro. Imparai a fare un male di testa, un male di pancia, tutte cose imparavo. E
sono donne, ma sono in particolare delle persone addette nel mondo contadino. In genere non sono mai professioniste e si va da queste persone. A queste persone non si paga, si dà un contributo, ci si saluta perché molte volte ci si accontenta il saluto, oppure ci si diventa parente battezzando un figlio oppure assistente al matrimonio del figlio, queste cose qui, questa parentela. Però in genere portano a queste donne, che poi sono quasi tutti bisognose, non hanno pensioni, non hanno niente, vivono di espedienti, gli portano il cibo, il pane fresco, le patate, quelle che riescono, un poco di olio, queste cose qua per sopravvivere. E loro sono contentissime.
Adesso chi ti chiama per fare la cura?
Tutti quanta gente mi chiamano.
E chi vengono? Sono piuttosto i vecchietti, i giovani?
I bambini. Ieri sera facevo uno bambino piccolino che io portone, poi venne una piccerella, poi facevo quella, vengono i vecchietti. Mi chiamano un pronto e fai certamente per me spastariato così. Io lo spastario quando venne sempre tutto là. Venne una volta, venne due, venne tre, venne quattro. Già stanno l'anno che mi piangono l'occhio, che la manè. E tu, chi tu levano allora tuo figlio tu malegato. Il è brutto malegato. E chi quando ti pigli che lo malegato, manca. E quando ti pigli a mano l'orecchio. Ma l'orecchio ci vede la candela. Un giroccio, metti in e tiri tutto quella roba lì. Che mia madre non imparava tutto. Poi ogni tanto faceva mamma, faceva sempre.
Esisterà ancora la credenza nel malocchio perché nonostante l'evoluzione il fatto mentale della persona non è un fatto che si acquisisce in un giorno, ci vogliono secoli per poter. Quando si dice, per esempio, normalmente si dice è quello alla cultura. La cultura non è cosa che si dà da un giorno all'altro, ci vogliono generazioni per poter migliorare questa cosa.
I still can't seem to make up my mind. Do I or don't I believe in malocchio? In Italy, it felt almost effortless to believe. But now, back home in Montreal, back in reality, The superstition feels old-fashioned and outdated. I should know better, right? For guidance, I turn to some of the academics whose works I've been reading.
It's a traditional belief that superstition is associated with ignorant people, people who are not educated. That turns out to be not true. There's good evidence that Harvard students and college-educated people are very capable of superstition. It seems to cut across all educational barriers.
All of our knowledge and all of our interpretations have a history, have a cultural context, and certain kinds of explanations seem natural to people and seem plausible because they fit with a cultural worldview. And so evil eye from that point of view is interesting because it fits in a broader tradition of social explanations of distress, because the assumption is the evil eye is coming from someone. There's somebody who is thinking ill of you, or is wishing you harm, or is jealous or envious of you, and in some way that is then causing a kind of stress on the social fabric, and it's having repercussions on your own health.
Because the evil eye itself is ambiguous, you can attribute just about anything to the evil eye. So at a minor level, it can cause headaches, stomach problems, nervous tension. But at another level, it can cause paralysis and death. But it also causes bad luck. And if it causes bad luck, then you can attribute just about anything to the evil eye as bad luck.
So the academics don't frown upon malocchio, but they don't exactly praise the belief either. What to believe, who to believe, I am more confused than ever. At the Montreal Fringe Festival, I come across a play by a group of Italian Montreal actresses. This is my generation's take on Italian culture, including malocchio.
It hits me somewhere between the antipasto and the stracciatella. A creeping sensation crawls up my spine and my temples begin to throb. I manage to tolerate it until everyone at the tables finish their cannelloni, but by the time the granita arrives, I can barely lift my head. I cross my fingers and decide to wait 20 minutes. With any luck, I won't have to go on to plan B, malocchio.
My family is so Canadianized. I asked my mother specifically, do you know nothing? She's like, oh, I know that some people believe that back in the 30s, for us, there's nothing, no truth to it, no tradition.
The one from the...
So when I read the script, for me it was just like, I just approached it like an actor approaching a scene, like not an Italian with the malocchio.
Whoever it was, when I get one of those migraines, just a phone call to Ma does the trick. Grazie, Ma. I call my mom at least 3 times a day. Ma, can you do malocchio for me, please? And I feel it. It hits right above the eyes. It's different from a regular headache. And when she does do the malocchio, either with a small prayer or with the oil and water, I actually start yawning. And I'm yawning uncontrollably for half an hour. And my colleagues are like, what is going on with you? They just heard me call. And I'm like, it's a prayer. It's the evil eye. Don't worry about it. It's working.
Il malocchio vada in perdizione!
Okay, basta! I can't take it anymore!
Being a Northern Italian, we don't do the malocchio, we don't believe in the malocchio. And so I went up to a friend and I said, you're Sicilian, you have to have stories about malocchio. My friend goes, oh, I have an aunt that goes, speak no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. And I just started to laugh. I was like, what the hell is that? Malocchio genzad, tresande maiudad, che puzzin dall'occhio, a chi t'ha fatto malocchio.
If she's speaking dialect, you know she's pissed.
Occhio ai malocchio, cornicelli agli occhi, crepa la invidia, e sbattono gli occhi, luna di sangue.
I guess for me, that it just proves that sometimes it's really not all in your head, it's not psychological. Because this girl at work, French-Canadian, she is stressed beyond stressed. I mean, major headache to the point where she was about to, throw up. I found her in the bathroom. But And she was crying and crying because she just couldn't take the headache anymore. And when she showed, she's like, oh, it's here and I can't get rid of it. And she had taken like 4 Advil by then from the morning, and we're not afternoon, nothing. So I just stood back. I thought about it for a second. And I said, look, don't ask me what I'm doing. I said, just let me do something and just, we'll just try something. I said, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. She's like, what? And I'm like, just don't ask. This girl had no idea what I'm talking about. Never heard of evil eye. Like, I didn't even tell her what I was doing. The second I finished, and I took like my hand, away, my thumb away from her forehead, and all I had a chance to say was so. And she kind of took a step back. She's like, "What the hell did you do?" I'm like, I said, why? And she's like, my headache is gone. My headache's gone. This girl freaked. The girl, I think she stayed away from me most of the afternoon. I don't know if she got scared. Like, I don't know if she thought I was some like witch and I'm not telling anybody.
So Maria's coworker thinks she's a witch. But the thing is, Italians don't consider curers of malocchio to be witches. They're just considered women who have this knowledge of curing. I head to the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia to meet Grace Farron, aka Rue. She's a registered nurse and an avid believer and practitioner of Italian folk magic. She doesn't call herself a witch either. She calls herself a healer. I met Rue through her website, rueskitchen.com.
So I started this website, and then emails started pouring in over the course of something like 5 years. It was nonstop. People from all over the world of Italian origin, Italian heritage, whether they were in Australia, whether they were in Canada, United States, Scotland, started emailing me just little tidbits, oh, my mom used to do this stuff, or you remind me of my grandmother. What I try to do is give people a place where they can read specifically stuff about malocchio, but even under my malocchio section, I have things that are cures against everything that ails you, from malocchio to illnesses to anxiety. I think the thing is that when you start to lose the previous generation, this is when you start to feel the desperation. I started to feel desperation when my father passed away, because that year, three people in our family tree, just that generation, parental, our parents, passed away, and with them were gone all their stories. All their stories, all the stuff we took for granted was gone forever. It's heartbreaking, and my website is to be honest, is the work of a desperate woman trying to maintain something that I could then show my kids. So I'll be able to show them, look, this is the kind of freaky stuff that your great-grandmother did. This is the kind of freaky stuff your grandfather did. It'll be difficult to pass on tradition, but at least you could pass on a little bit of history, knowledge, just so they know where they come from.
Tradition. There's that word again. This need to keep the knowledge of our ancestors alive. The passing on of knowledge, namely of how to cure malocchio, is an important tradition for believers. It's usually passed on from female relative to female relative. My mom and my aunts each have their own variation of the curing ritual, as is the case with any oral tradition. So I decide to ask my mom, Aunt Franca, and her sister Lena to teach me the different cures. First we start with Mom's curing prayer.
Ci faccio il segno della croce, Padre, Figliuolo e Spirito Santo, e dopo dico nella testa mia, non faccio sentire, e dopo comincio le piccole frasi. Cioè, tre sono gli affascinanti, l'occhio, il cuore e la mente. Dopo ripeto 3 volte, schiatto il malocchio, schiatto il malocchio, schiatto il malocchio. Dopo ripeto le preghiere, un Ave Maria, un Gloria al Padre e un Padre Nostro. Dopo la seconda frase, aspetta un minuto adesso. Questo non viene proprio. Un po' duro, ma da aspettare. No, ma un'altra volta non mi viene. Io penso che più effetto se la scriva. C'erano 3 fratte, una rava, una smarrava e un'altra la fa. No.
Ma tu dai scritto a metà.
Vamos a
ma
vedere.
dai, proprio alla paesana, a mezzo.
Aspetta, che io ricordo, guarda e mi viene a mente. Santa Savina da Roma veniva, sopra un fascio di salmento, si usa a posare, uomo amare e femmina dolce, schiatto malocchio qui non puoi stare. C'erano 3 frati, una rava, una smarrava e un'altra la fascima, la tagliava.
Ok, quello che vuol dire?
Queste sono parole che vanno contro il malocchio. Erano 3 fratelli, comunque come volesse tagliare sto malocchio.
E 3 è sempre un simbolo cattolico, sembra cosa fatta a 3.
E dopo sempre ripetono le preghiere.
Allora, quanto tempo ci vuole per fare tutto questo?
Beh, come un 15-20 minuti ci vogliono. E dopo io mi regolo, se ti viene da molto da sbadigliare vuol dire ce l'aveva il malocchio. Se non ti viene da sbadigliare non ce l'aveva. E quando è troppo forte se c'hai dormito sopra, non si caccia subito. Aspetta un'ora, 2 e lo ripeto un'altra volta. Lo puoi fare per 3 volte per ce lo cacciare proprio completamente.
Now it's time to learn the olive oil and water ritual. Like Mom's prayer, the ritual functions to first test the existence of malocchio and then to cure it. It's Lena's turn to teach me.
Allora, riempio il piatto dell'acqua, prendo un po' di sale e l'olio.
E mo che fai? Spiego che...
Adesso metto il piatto sulla testa.
E la persona deve mantenere?
Deve mantenere.
Ok.
Prendo un pizzico di sale, faccio la croce.
Ok.
E metto le 3 gocce.
Sono 3 gocce.
Sì.
E dopo si toglie il piatto?
Si toglie il piatto e vede le gocce. Se rimangono intere, non ce l'ha. Se le gocce si aprono, che si stendono, c'è il malocchio.
Ok, so diciamo mo...
Ma finché che ce l'hai croce?
Io penso che ce l'ho.
Perché
mi sentivo male veramente io, non era...
Sono fatte già più grandi.
Ma tu quando facevi questo sopra la testa dici qualcosa o basta che fai
La croce dice la croce, Padre, Figliolo e Spirito Santo.
So, mentre che fai quel...
La croce, quando prendi il sale, fai così, tu dici...
Se mo diciamo che l'hai fatto e vedi che la persona tiene un malocchio, cosa si fa adesso?
Fai questo e lo devi fare 3 volte.
La stessa cosa?
La stessa cosa.
E succede qualche volta che tu provi e non si toglie un malocchio?
No, si toglie se ce l'ha. Se non ce l'ha, sono altri problemi.
So per te, se la persona lo tiene, facete questa cura e marcia.
Lavoro.
Ma lavoro, guarda, come lavoro, io mi incomincio a sentire meglio.
Un malocchio.
The older generation believes wholeheartedly in the ritual cure, without any ounce of doubt. For someone like my brother Peter, an engineer by profession, there is only doubt.
Sono come un voodoo senza i pupazzi. Sai che persone che giocano con i pupazzi e mettono i coltelli nei pupazzi e ti fai male, tu credi in quello?
No, quello non lo credo.
Questa è la stessa cosa.
Quella è magia, quella è un'altra cosa.
Ma questa è magica pure?
Pure io quando ero giovane la pensavo come a te, vabbè, no. Non faccio avuto cambiare idea perché visto che
ci stavano le cose anche al contrario. Se uno c'ha un bel giardino, si passa un amico e dice oh che bello, ma mica quello lo fa apposta. Quel giardino comincia tutto a morire. Poi uno ci fa la malocchio e i pomodori, vedi che si rimettono, se tu lo fai subito i pomodori si rimettono. Ci stanno che fanno questo.
Io non credo che questo sia per niente.
Beh.
Io penso che è una ragione più scientifica, la natura fa questo, non le persone che vanno in giro e dicono malocchio, no, la natura che fa tutte queste cose.
No, ma quella persona non lo dice malocchio, è una cosa spontanea che viene, quello che lo fa non se ne accorge.
Ok, chi lo fa malocchio se è spontaneo?
Posso essere io, può essere il signore, lì può essere la signora, tutti possono essere.
Può essere la natura?
No, la natura no.
Se non si andiva male, se fate questo test e dice che tu hai malocchio?
Sì, l'ho fatto il test.
Come mo? Dice se tu
no,
hai
se lo vado a fare adesso, l'olio sta ben piazzato perché non sono malato, non c'ho mal di testa.
Sei mai provato questo test? Si provato a fare? No, non si provato a fare. Vai a provare a fare, vai a vedere che arriva. Io vado a fare, io posso fare il test per te. Io mi sento buono.
Mi fatto tanto. Insiste.
There's no convincing Peter that malocchio exists.
No, ma visto che
I tell him that I'm thinking of going to a chemist to look into the olive oil and water cure.
I've never seen any of our parents and any of the old Italians, when they do this, to have a controlled environment and a controlled experiment. This is very random. It's very random.
Here it's in the kitchen.
It's in the kitchen where factors change all the time. Maybe they used a certain type of soap in the plate and didn't rinse it properly. There's so many things, but it's not a lab. It's really not a laboratory, and you're not going to get the same results time and time again. It will always change. So I really believe that when they do this test, it's very random. If they're lucky, they'll do it properly and they won't have malocchio. If they make a mistake somewhere along the lines, well, I'm sorry, you have malocchio, you're gonna die, or you're gonna have a stomachache for a week. I think that's complete garbage, personally.
Is Peter right? Is there a scientific reason why water and oil would mix, aside from the presence of malocchio? This is an experiment worth trying. Professor of Chemistry Audrey Moores has agreed to take on the challenge.
So what I have here is a beaker filled with water. So I'm just going to pour water here in these clean vials. So I have nothing more but water there. Again into this vial, and I'm going to add a little bit of soap. So this is a water solution of soap, so as you see it dissolves perfectly. And then what I can add to that is a little bit of oil. So from this droplet, and I can shake it. So here it's coming together. And you see that all the little droplets of oil is actually now gone into water. And simply by having the soap present onto the boil, you could have this happening. So,
Professor Morris comes up with another possibility. Rather than the presence of a solvent, like dish soap, in the bowl that will cause the oil and water to mix, she thinks the curing ritual might just be an illusion.
there will form a completely flat layer on water so that when you look at it, it looks like it's completely dissolved, but the reality is that you have a sandwich, you have water, and then on the top oil. But from above, and especially in a white, in a white plate, you wouldn't see the difference at all. Depending on how the person holds the plate, shakes it, the quantity you add, you're going to be able to have this perfect layer on the top or not. And that could be a way to have or not have the evil eye. I don't know.
I'm not sure why I thought science could offer an irrefutable answer. It didn't, and I'm still on the fence. a friend convinces me to try one last avenue, metaphysics. My question, is the evil eye real?
Yes, it's possible for one human being to have ill intentions, have negative intentions, we could even say evil intentions towards another, and for it to influence that other person. You know, hundreds of years ago, even less than that, people were living much more with the earth, and there wasn't all this question of, is it scientifically provable? If somebody had an ill intention towards another, that person got sick or was unhappy or depressed, they felt influence, and there was an awareness that there was something afflicting them, affecting them. There was this direct evidence inside of them, empirically and obviously. So we have strayed somewhat from this just direct ability and our inherent gift to know what's happening without needing the academics or the scholars, so to speak, to tell us what the truth is. And I think that it's a bit of a sad story that humanity has turned its back on its connection with nature, its roots, its soul origin. So perhaps, not to say that the evil eye is something great that we all want to embrace, but whether or not it exists versus it doesn't exist, it's not real, it has no merit. You know, the soul can kind of guide you towards knowing that or not.
One evening, soon after I got home from work, I began to feel a headache. And before long, I could barely keep my eyes open. I took an aspirin, but the headache only seemed to get worse. My mom was around and was surprised to see me heading to bed early. I just wanted to sleep the headache off. I lay in bed, and before long, I was actually starting to feel much better. So much so that I got up and did some work. Well, the next morning, I got a call from my mom. She was checking in on me. I told her that the headache had simply vanished soon after I headed to bed. And that's when she told me. The headache, it seemed, was not a headache, but malocchio. Apparently, while I was laying in bed, my mom was secretly doing the curing ritual. She had to do the cure not once, but twice. That's how bad I had it. She ended the conversation by suggesting I wear an amulet from now on.
Okay, bye.
Lei credi nel malocchio? Credi?
Io non dico come quelli, non è vero ma ci credo, però ci sono dei valori scientifici che mi danno la possibilità in dei momenti di credere, non tanto con determinazione, con soluzione scientifica, ma con soluzione di massa, il rito che si ripete con la tarantata, con queste altre cose. C'è un momento diciamo così, di trasporto che ti viene come essere umano, però come essere razionale non posso accettare.
There's all sorts of questions that science cannot answer, and where every single individual has the right to choose the answer they choose. And, you know, such as where are we going after death is a question that I cannot answer, and there's no scientist that can actually answer this question. So I respect the fact that some people would say, oh, I believe that we go there, or I believe we go nowhere, or I believe something else.
For me, the ambiguity is the key. If there was no ambiguity, what it would mean is that there would be one definition of the evil eye, and once that was no longer useful, it would disappear.
You know, whether people believe it or they don't, I've actually seen it work, but I think it's just part of, it's just a fun thing to pass down. We just talk about it in the family, because if you don't talk about it in the family, then the young generation doesn't, you know, if it's just like everything else. It's like if the new generation doesn't teach their kids how to speak Italian, well, it's going to get lost. Same thing here. If they don't keep it in, even if just talking about it in the family, oh, you know, the malocchio, this and that it gets lost.
Ogni generazione c'è come una disciplina, penso pure per una disciplina di persone, per essere credente a qualcosa fa un po' di attenzione. E gira e rigira, prima sembra che non ci crediamo, dopo passando l'età che ci andiamo dentro, ritorna alle frasi dei genitori nostri, è forse come la natura che rapporta queste cose.
Did my mom really cure me of malocchio? She's confident that she did. What I know for sure is that I felt better. I can't deny that science makes a case against malocchio, but I can't ignore all the believers I've met and cast as coincidence all the stories they've told. Perhaps it's not real, but in the end, I choose to believe, as so many others have before me.